In Survivor, we've seen many people with followings apply for the show, whether it be filmmakers like Mike White, internet sensations like Will Sims, or even a member of the group Smosh, Mari Takahashi. All have joined and arrived to outwit, outlast, and outplay their opponents. I'm Bandit, and today we'll be going through the top 10 YouTubers, in my opinion, that would succeed in Survivor. This video is actually inspired by YouTuber John the Potter with 130k subscribers as of recording. He got the idea to click in my head that it would be fun to do a video on big mainstream YouTubers and break down why I think if YouTube doesn't work for them, maybe starving on a beach for a month would be a good alternative. But firstly, I set myself a clear set of rules to follow since I want to eventually end up with a cast of 20 YouTubers when the series is over that could semi-viably make a modern day Survivor cast. So firstly, I set the bar at 1 million. These YouTubers need to have at least 1 million subscribers to be included on these lists. These can either be on their own channel or part of a corporation you can easily identify with them. Number 2. Since I only cover Survivor US on this channel, I will solely be allowing YouTubers that are either from America or Canada to apply. Since Canadians have only recently been allowed to apply and join, I've still only limited myself to putting one Canadian on this list, as the only seasons with Canadians has been Island of the Idols, which only had Tom Laidlaw. Finally, and almost kind of a given, but these are content creators that I've watched before, and through some snooping of their wikis and other information throughout the week, I've been able to come up with an analysis on each one. With me being situated in the UK, it's tough since I don't really watch many American YouTubers as perhaps a standard person might, but since I'm committed to this video, I cannot include any UK YouTubers. And with that said, it's time to get on to the list that I have created. At number 10, we've got Mr. Tfue. With a 3 million YouTube following, Mr. Tfue makes truly one-of-a-kind videos by creating ancient paradises from chiseling away at sandstone and dirt. Although he is believed to be a builder hired by companies in Cambodia, the channel ultimately is stated as US. I decided to include him under this list nonetheless. Anyway, something I instantly found about Tfue, or Tfue Sin as he is actually known as, is his overwhelming determination. For every project, he spends days upon days tirelessly crafting his underground buildings to one day, quote, build an ancient city. He seems to want people hundreds of years into the future to stumble upon his works of art and ancient cities only he himself can claim to have created. As we've seen from the dawn of Survivor, having a lead builder designating people and having a vision of the finished shelter is key to having somewhere to sleep on the first night. Mr. Tfue, with his great knowledge of seemingly taught architectural skills, or self-taught architectural skills, can be extremely helpful the first few days and a huge help to the tribe. As well as that, he also has been shown to be a great hunter, even catching a fish out of the river with his bare hands in one video. These fishermen like Rupert Boneham and Ozzy Lazuth are greatly appreciated as well. With such little rice portioned out each day, having an individual capable of getting fish can help tip some people over at crucial votes. With such little food going around anywhere, people will appreciate anything you can fish up, and so with his hunting skills, Mr. Tfue can very quickly find himself as a necessary component on the tribe, fulfilling the role of provider. Pre-merge, he should be fine given his challenge strength and willingness to work hard, but if he swaps screwed, that's an issue. In modern Survivor now, it's becoming more and more common to remove a good challenge performer on your newly swapped tribe in the fear they perform well come the merge. Also, if the people at the top of the totem pole are confident they can survive even when the tribe gets low on numbers, then they might as well kill the strong people on the previous opposing tribe off first. This is an issue for Mr. Tfue. Also, if he makes the merge, he's definitely going to be targeted, as he's an obvious chance threat, and his predicted inability to be less dominant in the social category makes him easily alienated and picked off. He lies here at number 10 for me, a strong performer that can help the tribe in the early game, kind of like an Ozzy Lazuth, but again, he will never reach tribal council at the end unless he goes on an immunity challenge winning spree. Number 9. Logan Paul. When thinking of American YouTubers, love him or hate him, but Logan Paul is going to be at the top of that list. Now, if this was 2017, Logan Paul wouldn't be on this list because he would be completely egotistical, too absorbed on the money, and just not make good TV. However, Logan Paul, I feel, is someone that if he applied for Survivor could actually stand a reasonable chance. And I'm being serious. Firstly, I think Logan has the best adaptability in challenges, where obviously he's going to be great at physical challenge due to his physique, but I also feel like mental puzzle related challenges he can actually do fairly decently. I would compare his type of challenge performance to Joe Anglim. There's no real reason to vote out Logan Paul pre-merge, as his strength will be greatly appreciated in every challenge. Community challenges involving the ones shoving each other with pads or pulling contestants off wooden poles he'll be essential for as well. Something that puts him above Mr. Tfue for me is Mr. Tfue's grasp of English is weak evidently in his videos, but Logan Paul has really good social skills, especially with his impulsive podcast, receiving Podcast of the Year 2019 awards by Streamy and having many guests on such as Comedy Shorts Gamer and MrBeast. He's also been at various Black Lives Matter campaigns, and at the loss in the KSI fight really hit him down to earth now, and I believe he now appears far more grounded and rational as a being, and more so the one that we knew 2 to 3 years ago. His controversies and inflated ego ultimately caused him to have good levels of self-aware as well, in my opinion, which is all useful in the game of Survivor. The problem I have with Logan Paul though is that he's a big guy, and we've seen with Chris Noble and John Hennigan that the guys that are the most physically well built by a mile is roughly the merge boot, and I feel like come a merge of Survivor, especially with this current tribe I've assembled, that he's so much of an obvious threat that he'll be picked off for it. He's going to find himself in hot water come merge, and I feel like his easy time pre-merge will lull him into a false sense of security with people that will eventually backstab him and get him out. Number 8. Cody Ko. Yay, the Canadian is here. Oh wait, yay, the comedian is here. Ah well, he's both. At number 8, we have a personal favourite of mine on the list, and one of the funniest people I have ever watched, Cody Ko. I mean, seriously, what is Love Island content with Noel Miller? Cody, in my opinion, will be a dark horse out of these YouTubers and has a legitimate niche if he decided to go on to Survivor. He may not seem the most physical, but in the Duke University he was actually put on the swim team. Despite this accomplishment being a few years ago, it's not unreasonable to assume Cody still has his great swimming ability still with him, and with several challenges in Survivor being very swimming dominant, such as pulling fellow contestants on ships, swimming while pulling a heavy snake in the water, and outswimming opponents for individual immunity, Cody really helps in that factor. His computer science degree also helps with puzzle-related challenges, and he can be an extremely strategic character, even villainous at potential points. The main problem with Cody Ko is that I feel he will have a very snarky presence on the show, which everyone will find funny at the start, but come the final week, while they're cold and starving, will probably get more fed up with. Even though I love Cody Ko's videos and find him hilarious, he might have a tendency that when trying to make fun of people jokingly, to blur the line with insulting that could end up having nasty consequences. He just looks like one of those people that could have a very high variance game. Cody could honestly be the first boot of the season, or win it all, or anywhere in between, kinda like a Nick Wilson character. I think he'll be great strategically, and as long as he is warm to everyone on his tribe, I can see him making a deep run. Number 7. Courtney Miller. Courtney Miller, most commonly known for being a well-known actor and cast member on Smosh, is on my list because she has a likability and charm like no other. She is one of these individuals that I've used the corporation's numbers that she belongs to rather than her own individual channel, which has around 300,000 subscribers. The first association that you can easily make from Courtney is that she is a Smosh member, meaning unlike most Survivor newbies, Courtney actually has a friend that she can learn important Survivor knowledge from. Mari Takahashi competed on Survivor Seasons 33 Millennials vs Generation X, and despite being booted second overall, the knowledge she can provide on the certain do's and don'ts could help Courtney's chances dramatically in the first few days of the game. Courtney also is an actress, but something less known about her is that by the age as young as 10, she did her own writing, editing, and shooting of small films that she made on her own, showing an innate dependence. Her several years of acting on Smosh have allowed her to play characters very well, and thus she can easily disguise when being untruthful to someone, and thus makes me think she'd be a reasonably strategic contestant. Knowing when to play up the character of best friend to people and respond in warm ways that make others in a conversation feel invited by her presence are also two big positives. Her acting skills also allow her to ham up villainous confessionals also, and thus adding more entertainment to a season of Survivor she'd be on in a whole. Finally, she's also very funny, and in times when tribe morale is low, having someone lighthearted and fun as Courtney Miller can really help pass the time. Her social skills are also helped by the fact she has to communicate with many people on a daily basis. Often jobs such as waitering have shown to be good social players. She's even done a game show with Chris Pratt for crying out loud. The problem with Courtney Miller is despite seeming strategically set and have good social skills, it would be safe to say she isn't one of the most physical players. She could therefore end up like a game changer Sierra Easton, where she's a great social and strategic player, but is picked off very early due to her not being necessary for the tribe to win. If she can get past the first few rounds and make the swap, I think she has a really good shot at having a winning game. The first tribal she will attend, though, will be a difficult chance to survive. I feel, therefore, she lands here at number 7. Number 6. Preston Plays. This might seem like a joke pick on the outset, but I can definitely say this is not a joke pick, and Preston has some very big positives coming into Survivor. Firstly, I feel as though Preston's community is a very tight-knit one, and with his content being more so for kids demographic, both his Minecraft and main channel, it decreases the likelihood of him being recognised exponentially in comparison to other YouTubers mentioned prior. Preston's great and has such a lively personality like a Tony Blackos that you want to keep him in the game only because you yourself get the energy vicariously from him that he exudes. And that's where Preston really shines for me, is that he has completely nailed the social game. Now, strategically and physical capabilities, as we'll get to later, are definitely less easy to find, with the Survivor being a social game, inherently having an S-tier social gameplay is already great. He isn't even that awful physically, as his experience as a military lifeguard for 3 months seemed to have given him some much needed swimming strength and knowledge. Preston is also a person who, on Survivor, I feel is very clear-headed and will always have a clear idea in his head of how he wants to get to the end in Survivor, and that is important. This point is further proven by when his adoptive father was deployed to Iraq. He was doing anything to earn a little bit of money for himself. This included printing flyers, mowing lawns, and even cleaning houses. Preston is a determined young man, and from day one I feel he will be a Christian Hubicki individual where everyone will want to align with him. My main problem with Preston is I don't think he's willing to play a game that involves backstabbing. While being loyal is a good quality, not knowing when to vote out an ally when they become too big of a threat to win is daunting. Despite having a lot of recruiters, likely in the first few days, Preston seems to be like the guy that will put all of his eggs into one basket and do or die by an alliance, which isn't always bad, but is a very archaic way to play Survivor. I feel Preston makes the merge rather easily, as he's not too big of a strategic or physical threat to receive the boots unless he really gets unlucky in a tribe swap. In fact, he probably fares quite well the first few rounds of the merge, but the social game will eventually catch up to him, and come the final 8 and on, I predict people will begin spearheading a charge to vote out Preston because he's seen as way too likeable. Preston will have great social skills and jury management if he ever chooses to play Survivor. My only fear is that could be the death of him. Number 5. David Dobrik. YouTube Goliath and vlogger David Dobrik, with over 18 million subscribers, is next on this list. And to be honest, David's kind of got it all. He's obviously very social, with receiving 3 Stremmy Awards in 2019. Furthermore, he's also listed in 2018 as one of the top 10 social media personalities making the most noise. David also has a great adaptability in being able to communicate with a variety of people and their characteristics. In 2019, he was a co-host at the Teen Choice Awards, a presenter in the American Music Awards 2019, and again another judge in America's Most Musical Family. His content has received many titles, such as Content Creator of the Year and Breakout Creator. It's safe to say the social game is on lock. Although I don't have any research to back up his strategic game, naturally I think he will also be great in this field. His interactions with so many people on his vlogs or shows, he's truly had the ability to gain an understanding into the mindset of people. And unlike Preston, I think David is willing to play a cutthroat game if it needs to happen. With these 2 qualities, I could even see David assuming leader on his tribe. Finally, is his physical capabilities, which you're all probably assuming I'm about to say he's going to be a failure at, but that's not entirely true. In Vernon Hills High School, David qualified for the 2014 Boys State Tennis Tournament, even winning 3rd place in the doubles format. With good hand-eye coordination and speed that comes from playing tennis, David truly can use that towards his advantage in some immunity challenges we've seen in past years. But that still won't save him from the overarching judgment that, in comparison to most Survivor players, he won't be seen as a hugely physical person and could be voted very early into the season by a tribe looking to win and feeling that by losing him they won't be missing out much. David's 2 options for his game also are to be seen as a dominant leader or play a very passive second-in-command game, either of which have their downsides. Obviously, being seen as a tribe's leader hurts come a tribe swap if you're down in numbers, but also come merge, you're an easy identifiable threat. Playing for a more passive game leads to not getting the respect from a jury at the final tribal council, if you manage to make it there. And thus, due to his awkwardness, I feel David has to decide which gameplay style to go with, and therefore I feel like he lies here at number 5. Number 4. Jenna Marbles. Before anyone calls me completely ignorant to what has happened to Jenna Marbles in the past week or so, allow me to explain before any complaints begin in the comments. I acknowledge the fact that Jenna Marbles has quit YouTube. However, to my knowledge, she has not ever stated that she would quit YouTube in its entirety. From what I expect, she's simply having a few weeks away to rest away from YouTube before returning once again, truly solidifying the past is in the past. If you're still having her YouTube channel open and no definitive response about quitting YouTube in its entirety, I still have her on this list as a viable selection. Nonetheless, Jenna Marbles is one of the old school YouTubers back in 2006, still with videos even in 2020 created. She has over 20 million subscribers and her channel is one of the biggest female entertainers on the planet. Something instantly that strikes out to me when looking at her content is that her video titles nor thumbnails necessarily give off that look like she's trying to draw in people, but they still achieve very respectable views. My first point that I'm trying to make is Jenna is an extremely likable individual that doesn't need to rely on the strength of thumbnails or titles that encourage clicks, like this video. A lot of her fans like her for being her and keep coming back, whether it be baking a cake for her dog or tie-dyeing her clothes. It's just a fun person. Having a good charisma is really nice in Survivor, especially in the early game. At the first tribal council pre-swap, it's good to be in a majority alliance even if you're at the bottom, as a tribe swap will completely flip. Jenna seems like a person that will never be creating alliances herself, but will very easily be recruited to join them, which is a very beneficial ability to have. Jenna also can deal with a wide variety of YouTube personalities, and this has been shown in their YouTube videos, such as Epic Rap Battles of History, a 2011 show called Mom's View, and even featured in Smosh the Movie as herself. She also can be very strategic from her science degree in psychology, allowing her to identify the human mind better, understanding the likes of activating beliefs, cognitions, and even how to condition people. Her ability to position herself in the middle of many alliances makes her in a great position, as being at the top or bottom of the totem pole in an alliance in most situations is bad, and so assuming a more middle ground position is safer and will allow survivability in Jenna's game. In fact, with her being in this middle ground position, she'd actually be a rather good user of the meat shield strategy that I went into detail about in last week's video. My main problem with Jenna is quite similar to Courtney, where their lesser physicality results in her being an easy early bout to retain tribe strength. Her also likely being not at the top of an alliance will hurt her, as come the middle of the merge she will have to slice away at the people above her on the totem pole so she can beat those she chooses to sit beside at the final 3, but also making sure she does it in a way that doesn't put a target on her back, which is difficult. Something that puts her above David, Preston and Courtney for me is that she is a strategic individual that I feel won't be outwardly strategic, and being able to have knowledge of the game, keep that to yourself rather than letting the beans spill in certain situations, makes or breaks games. Number 3. Liza Ko. With more than 17 million subscribers, Liza Ko lies here at number 3, a strong female with many achievements, such as a massive 4 Streamy Awards, 14 Choice Awards, and even a Kids' Choice Award for Favourite YouTuber. In time 2019, she was included in the top 25 most influential people on the internet, with Liza being bilingual, knowing English and Spanish, and perhaps some German and Indian due to her parents' descent. She has a lot of cultural awareness. This equates well into the game of Survivor, as with casts increasing in culture size. For instance, Island of the Idols introduced their first Canadian and American Indian into their season. Being able to talk to many people with many different upbringings is important, and Liza, through her knowledge of various cultures and how they operate, gives her a huge advantage. For being a female, she also seems to have some good upper body strength, which will be very valuable in challenges early on. Finally, Liza, I feel, will be a fun villain on the show and will play it well with a good strategic knowledge to reinforce this. Her cunning demeanour and foresight to know when to flip and backstab on people is a very valuable trait, as knowing who is a bigger threat than you, friend or foe, and taking them out can win you the game, and has on more than one occasion cost people it. So you might be saying, Bandit, this sounds like an incredible idea, but how could she possibly be only number 3? Well, there are a few problems with Liza, and firstly, and unfortunately, her archetype of a female that is not white is of the highest chance to be voted out at the first Tribal Council attended. In no way do I support judging someone off the basis of their skin colour, and instead I firmly believe that we should judge people by their character, but it's something to note nonetheless. Secondly, I don't know what it is about Liza, but if I was on Survivor with her, I just wouldn't trust her. She has this personality in her videos that she comes off far more smarter than she's actually portraying. Now, in her videos, this is fun and all, but on the island, even though she may and probably will be extremely caring, I would have my guards up when strategizing with her, as she could come off shifty at points. Granted, if Liza can pass the first few tribal councils, I think her making it to the end is very logical. I can imagine her being one of those people that gets to the final 6 and you wonder how on earth they managed to make it that far, as they're such an obvious threat to win the game. Number 2. Higa. Ryan Higa, or Higa, as his channel is referred to as, is one of the biggest on YouTube, and actually between 2009 to 2011 he was the most subscribed YouTube channel. Despite not seeming it due to generally being considered lean, Ryan is actually a fairly strong individual and therefore a good challenge performer. Ryan is very well trained in the art of judo and holds a black belt ranking, showing extreme dedication and skills in the martial arts. As someone who's done judo, granted at amateur levels, it involves obviously very good strength but also being quick and nimble, and this allows you to dominate your opponents. These qualities instantly set up Ryan as a dark horse in challenges, with his explosive potential in many reward and immunity challenges such as shoving opponents with pads, having to knock an idol off your opponent's paddle, and various other ones involving good upper body strength. This will be extremely appreciated. To further defend my point, in 2008 Ryan wrestled at Wakay High School, and I'm sorry if I butchered that name, where he graduated in 2008. Higa is also an extremely creative individual in his life, as in 2009 when his videos were taken down for copyright violations, Ryan decided to compose his own music as a workaround. This genius ability to outmaneuver a roadblock is exactly what contestants need on Survivor. With so many advantages springing out of nowhere and so many twists baked into pretty much every single season as of recent, being able to have a grasp on how to creatively explore and overcome obstacles is often the difference between making it further and getting your torch snuffed. In fact, Ryan's build is probably perfect for a guy going on to this show. You don't want to be the biggest guy, but show that you're useful in challenges. This is especially important because as of recent, guys in Ryan's physical build range with mediocre or worse social skills have been getting sniped out pre-swap and have become shockingly blindsided. Ryan with the strength and good social skills, though, make him more likely to not meet a sudden end like the other guys in his pool. As for a social game, I mean, do I even need to explain it to you? In one of his productions, Agents of Secret Stuff, in 2014, he's had appearances from many other YouTubers like Arden Show, Anthony Padilla, Dtrex, CashMG, and Himron. Furthermore, his RHPC squad has also been created, further boosting Ryan's ability to work in a team environment, and also has done team collaborations with his group and the other popular UK group Sidemen, for just one example. Now, this raises the question, what would be the downsides to Higa on Survivor? And to be honest, not much. A guy like him would be largely perfect on the show, but of course, practically him being a celebrity will obviously hurt his chances as expected, like most of these YouTubers. Secondly, I feel like Ryan will be the one of this tribe coming to people with an alliance plan, and this won't be the same vice versa, for example, which is fine in moderation. If you're creating every alliance, then it could backfire, especially if people circle back and chat to one another about their alliances that you've made with them. But even that is an unlikely event, so I'm more so picking holes for the sake of it. As I said, Ryan is pretty much perfect for this kind of game. I just wonder if he'll have a good level of agency come the merge. Number 1, and last but definitely not least, the person at the very top is MrBeast himself. Where do I even start with MrBeast? He's an absolutely insane individual and in my opinion has a really good shot at winning Survivor. Obviously we need to start with his social skills, which are amazing. With every one of his videos, he interacts with either numerous friends or the community, offering huge cash gift prizes. He has a really good voice, and with his tone addressing you in a friendly way on videos really like no other. What makes it better is Jimmy's voice isn't overpowering or overbearing. He has his perfect way of only really talking when he needs to, and allows his friends to take the reins on parts of the videos that need comedy, and thus switching up the formula. Jimmy's work ranges from reaching out to numerous food shelters and charities while also interacting with many massive creators. He has hosted rock, paper, scissors tournaments for some of the world's biggest YouTube stars. He's hosted a Battle Royale tournament with over 30 of the biggest names all in one arena. And of course, who can't forget Team Trees, where Jimmy practically teamed up with every big creator on YouTube to help save the planet. His kind, nurturing and charitable ways are amazing. And even when people point him out on the island, that's what he'll be identified as. This allows Jimmy a lot more agency, as his perception of being kind can allow him the affordability to in fact play a very devious game. And we've seen him be devious on Quackity's Discord's Got Talent video, and by buffing it up a bit more, I think Jimmy could have one of the biggest heel turns and become the villain of the season. Jimmy's mind also is incredibly strategic, and his way of making videos on YouTube has been seen as completely revolutionary, with many people copying his content tricks to replicate his success. No video in over 1 year has fallen under 10 million views on MrBeast's channel, and that in itself is insanity. His creativity and ability to experiment in just about anything can also allow him to develop some truly out-of-the-box strategies in Survivor, which often work incredibly well. Finally, is also his willpower, which is immeasurable. Often his videos in the older days would involve him reading an entire encyclopedia, cutting a table with a plastic knife, or even counting to ludicrous numbers all on stream. This ability to torture himself with mundane tasks to allow for him to handle being on the island rather well. As Aubrey Bracco, 3-timer on Survivor, once said, you have to take the time on the island either in 3 seconds, 3 minutes or 3 hours, and try to make it through the game that way. I think Jimmy will have no real issues with mental fatigue, since he's got such a strong will and creative energy. Now, granted, Jimmy is no physical beast, but as I stated previously with Ryan Higa, more modern Survivor tribes are willing to take a big swing when voting out a male individual, and instead one that isn't as socially capable, which Jimmy is. Jimmy, funnily enough, even when he challenged by the argument most jury members make about him being a celebrity and always having too much money, is largely distinguished due to him spending a large amount of the money he has earned to better people's lives. With that knowledge, why wouldn't people then just give Jimmy the win and the money vicariously, understanding he'll probably end up giving it to charity? A great, well-rounded player that should be able to hide behind more physically or strategically dominant individuals is what Jimmy is. And that's why he lands here at number 1. To help me become a famous YouTuber one day, I had to try it, sorry. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell on again, assuming you like this content, of course. I like what does help me know you guys are enjoying my content and just allows me to see it visually. Finally, YouTube results have shown me that 56% of you watching this video are not subscribed. Hey, what's up with that? Do you want to help a small creator out? I put 20 hours of work over the past week into both my 2 most recent uploads combined. Even though it doesn't look like it, it's a lot of work. And between creating slides, rendering, recording, audio, scripting, yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, that's me, guys. Thank you for watching, and once again, just thank you for all the support, all the comments, just all the appreciation for the channel. It's been absolutely insane. But that's me. I'm Bandit. Peace.